is they gave everything they could. You had guys pitching on short rest. You had players giving everything they had because this was Game 5, and we wanted so badly to take the next step, as a team. And so I wanted to thank them. We have nothing to hang our head down on, and there's going to be plenty of time to talk about the season, this game, the peaks, the valleys. But I'm extremely proud of that group in there for what we accomplished.
Those are the comments of Tigers manager A.J. Hinch after the Tigers lose 3-2 in 15 innings to Seattle in Game 5 of the American League Divisional Series. All right. He says he's proud of the team and has nothing to hang his head over. I think he has some things to hang his head over, and I don't know if I'm that proud of the team, especially from the way that I saw the flaws come to the top of the coffee cup here, because Torres 0 for 6, Green 0 for 6, Torkelson 0 for 6, Keith 0 for 5, McKinstry 1 for 6, Dingler 2 for 6, Meadows 0 for 5. That is not good, Will.
Not ideal.
Ideal, no.
Must-win Game 5 in the playoffs. I think the question we're all kind of grappling with is, did this season represent a step forward? And no, literally it didn't, because they got to the exact same juncture they did last year. But I think they did put a stamp on what they achieved at the end of last season by playing pretty darn good baseball for 3.5 months of this season. I don't think the way the season ended, September included, should obscure that. I also do think, though, the Tigers need to be honest with themselves this offseason. And Game 5 revealed their biggest flaws. And to your point, Woody, when the 2, 3, 4, 5 hitters go 0 for 23 with 10 strikeouts, you clearly have a need for more proven, established bats in the middle of your lineup. And they talk so much about their control the zone mantra. Well, this team this season, not in the playoffs, this season, over 162 games, had the 4th highest strikeout rate in the majors. If they are true to their mantra, they have to adjust their roster, not just their approach this offseason.
Yeah, but doesn't the idea, okay, I get the fact that last year they may have made some kind of statement as to what they were, but doesn't the end of this year kind of lean that towards the fluke idea? Because maybe it wasn't something.
That's what I'm saying. They put a stamp on it by playing good baseball for
team.
3 months.
Yeah, and the question is, how do you take that next step, which they couldn't. I mean, they lasted 6 innings longer this time.
I guess it was a step forward.
Technically, just to be clear. But no, how do you take that next step? And it, there's going to be, we're going to hear a lot about, the internal growth, how young this roster is, which is all true. Position group players, one of the youngest, if not the youngest teams still in the league. But to your point, the middle of that order, how much faith do you have that just a year older is going to suddenly turn those 0 for 5s and all those strikeouts into? I mean, Riley Green has a lot of work to do in this offseason.
Yes, he
does.
He
cannot strike out 200 times a season and be a franchise player, a superstar in this league, which you're hoping he still is. But yeah, I think they have to go find some proven. And Gleyber Torres is a free agent. Right. He's your most he was the one guy who did command the strike zone. He did win in the strike zone at the plate for this team. And is he coming back? Is he not coming back? Well, you're going to have to find another Gleyber Torres and probably another on top of that.
Look, fans know this, and they'll point to it all the time. Who do you blame for this?
I think I know who they're blaming.
Who do you blame? Go ahead. I'll start with you.
I mean, Scott Harris failed at the trade deadline, clearly, and also failed last offseason because they went after Alex Bregman. They didn't get him. You could have used Alex Bregman. We talked about it, all spring.
Right. Yeah.
You saw it at the end of the year. You could have used Alex Bregman, obviously. The pitching that he did add amounted to nothing. Alex Cobb, we never saw.
Right, a lot of
that's $15 million.
Empty contracts.
Yes. Left over from the year before. So injuries are one thing. You expect injuries in the rotation. But he didn't have the answers, and then he didn't go get enough answers. In the
right, because I keep scratching my head. I look at Seattle. They went and got Josh Naylor, Eugenio Suarez at the deadline. These guys the Tigers could have gotten. All they had to do was go out there and get it. I don't think that Scott Harris, though, is completely getting all the blame here. I think AJ has to get a little bit, too, because, honestly, I think that sometimes he's trapped by the structure that he likes, okay? His starter goes 6. I got a 7th-inning guy. I got an 8th-inning guy. I got a 9th-inning guy. If your guy's throwing a no-hitter, are you worried about your 7th-inning guy? No. That's why I said I sometimes scratch my head at how he doesn't try to use all the tools in the toolbox to get wins.
I think if there was ever a time for a harder conversation with Tarek Skubal about maybe pushing through one more inning, it was on Friday night when Skubal made it clear to AJ that he had one inning left in the tank after the fifth, and maybe that's a situation where AJ says, can you give us 3 more outs? Can you give us 15 more pitches? Because if we take you out of this game after 6, that lineup on the other side is going to be so relieved. And I feel like, to me, that's when you know it's the wrong decision to remove a pitcher from the game. If the opposing offense takes it as a blessing, you probably should leave him in for at least 3 more outs. But look, the fact that AJ got this cobbled together roster to 87 wins deserves a ton of credit and a ton of praise.
I think he
obviously the spotlight
he optimized
was on the move,
the heck
but
out of this
did get
lineup
the
all
most out of
year,
it.
and certainly that pitching staff and that bullpen, especially with the injuries that kind of creeped up on him in the middle of the season. I will say this too, though, it's a two-way street with Skubal on that too. I mean, we talk too much about Justin Verlander still in this town, but Justin Verlander's got a death grip on that ball on the mound, and so
Jack Morris would have been that
but
way.
it is. It's a conversation that you're talking about. Is like one more inning, so he goes out and he does empty the tank. In that last inning.
Probably still would have had 99 in the tank. Let's be honest. Maybe he wouldn't have been 101 in the 7th, but he probably would have still had it.
And when it's the end of the season or moving on, it should be a different conversation.
All right, guys, I got a signal for a fast timeout, but when we come back, we'll dive into college football, excuse me, I'm speaking, and the difficulties for both Michigan and Michigan State on Saturday. This is Sportsworks Sunday night.